on one of the channels, and there was no cable TV back then, at least not in England. And it was a story about Betty and Barney Hill. Have you heard that one?
I don't know. Sounds familiar.
So Betty,
but you're talking a long time ago.
It was 1961.
I was born in 1966. So yes, no, I have not heard of them.
Not when I watched it, but when this encounter happened. They was a couple driving. I think they was driving from Canada, and it was a hell of a long time. They was heading towards New Hampshire, where they lived, I think. Mm-hmm. And they saw this object in the sky and pulled over and said, "What the hell is it?" He had a pair of binoculars on him. And then they heard this beeping in the back of the car while they're driving. So again, he pulled over. And then the next thing they know, they're back on the road again, driving.
The time lapse and everything else.
So they got back to where they lived. Barney had a series of terrible headaches and nightmares, and so did his wife, Betty. And it was a friend of theirs who said, "This is really, really strange. You know, you keep both having the same dreams. You need to go and see somebody about it." They went to see a shrink, and it was him that recommended regression, you know, where you try and tap into this missing time.
Hypnosis, regression.
Yeah, hypnosis.
But why not an MRI? Because everyone has those metal objects. You know, just do an MRI. What the hell is that right there?
But this was like 1961.
Oh, okay. Yeah. MRI.
And anyway, so they went to see...
Metal detector.
Yeah. Well, I don't think they was implanted, but anyway, they went to see this person who could regress them, and it turned out they both told pretty much the same stories about this light that they could see in the sky, and then the next thing they know, they're both being lifted up into this saucer, and it was James Earl Jones that played Barney, because Barney was a black guy and Betty was a white woman, which was kind of unheard
Betty
of.
White.
Betty White, yeah.
Older than sliced bread.
I don't think it was she was a golden girl.
Oh, God, she was great.
Anyway, that's how the story goes, and I think there was a series of tests done on them by these creatures. Again, it was the typical, you know, head with big almond eyes, a slit, and they spoke not by talking as we're talking now, but it was more
telepathy.
Now, the most intriguing part about this story is that whilst under regression, Betty told the guy that was regressing her that when she was leaving this craft, she saw a big board, and she said to this alien, or she thought to this alien, "What is that?" And he said, "That's where we're from. That's where we come from."
It's our to-do. Get bread, milk.
It was a series of dots. So, you know, it was probably, some constellation. Anyway, under regression, she was asked to draw what she saw, and she drew this thing down. And the guy regressing them didn't think much more of it, but it was a friend of the Hills that knew somebody and said, "You know what? I'm going to give this to this friend of mine who may know exactly what this is." And the friend made like a 3D model of this drawing.
Okay.
And it turns out it was pretty much identical to Zeta Reticuli, the formation in the sky. Yeah.